Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Reagan with Live 5 News, and today I'm joined by Collin Holloway. He's a Democrat running in House District 102 in the June primary. First and foremost, thank you, sir, for joining me.
Yep, thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's start off. For folks who maybe don't know who you are, give us a little background. Who are you, and what should people know about who you are?
Well, I'm no one special, but I think that's kind of why I decided to run anyways. I've lived a similar life to a lot of my constituents here. I went to college. I was a poor college kid. I've worked a lot of low wage jobs too. I've seen what living those types of lifestyles are like. So I've always wanted to serve my community, and I just felt like it was my time to do that. And I feel like with my experiences, that I feel like I know what people are thinking, what they want, and what they need.
In your website, I looked at your bio, and one of the first things that you write in your bio is you describe yourself as a single parent and a clerk at Spinks. What do you think that says about you when the voters are looking at choosing their next leader?
Well, personally, I don't like to run on this, but I know that I've been told a lot that by people that they want younger people to start running for office, and I am, in my 20s still. So I don't like to think, or I don't like to define myself that way. I like to define myself based on the ideas that I've proposed. My main things I've been running on is a lot of housing first policies. Everywhere I've lived, everyone I've known, they've always complained about how expensive housing is and how hard it is to afford just to survive and be able to pay rent. So one thing I really believe in, which I believe will help people that struggle to afford be able to stay in a house and also help people that are on the street, is I want to create a housing first policy where we guarantee everyone has the option to live in a house regardless of anything. Well, in this case, an apartment, I think, would be probably the easiest way to do that. Have dedicated apartment complexes that if you have nowhere to go or you're struggling to survive, that you can go somewhere and you don't have to worry about paying a large chunk of your paycheck every month to just keeping a roof over your head. I think that will definitely help people save money, be able to maybe move to a better house once their situation improves. It'll help keep people off the street, keep them safe, healthy, and it even saves money by keeping homeless people out of jails and out of hospitals and stuff when they're safe and healthy.
Where do you think you get the money for something like free government housing is what it sounds like the plan is there?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's not necessarily where you get the money from. It's like I said, it's even cheaper for when it comes to homelessness, because a lot of our tax dollars already goes to taking care of homeless people in jails and hospitals, like I said. So we can already save money by just going to universal housing, like a universal housing option, rather than just maintain the status quo as is.
Sure. So a couple of other points that you bring up on your website is it looks like voting rights is a huge part of your platform, and so are worker rights. Can you dive into those topics a little bit more?
Yeah, well, I mean, the easiest thing to say about voting rights is we need to guarantee that everyone has a place that they can easily access, a time that they can easily do it. I think that one way we can do that is making sure voting day is a a holiday that people guarantee time off. I think that also stretching it out to make sure that there's multiple days to give people, there's people have like essential jobs where they can't skip a day. Our first responders for one. So if we stretch it out to 3 to 7 days or whatever, that makes sure it guarantees that everyone has the chance to participate in our voting system.
So you would see a voting holiday over the course of a couple of days for our major elections.
Yeah.
Cool. Let me ask you again here about you mentioned worker rights. What do you mean, or what is your platform for worker rights?
The first thing that comes to mind is I think that unions are really important for make sure that workers are paid well, that they get the benefits they deserve, and that they make sure that their needs are met by their bosses. So I think making sure that there's a higher rate of unionization, and ideally what I would really like to do is make sure that we have sectoral bargaining in this state, which guarantees that everyone within industries are all guaranteed to be in a union, and the entire industry as a whole will then be bargaining for the workers in said industries. Other states have tried that out, and it's worked really well so far, especially in other countries too.
What do you say to folks who might say the more unions you have, the more prices go up as that collective bargaining results in higher wages for the people that are in those industries?
I don't really buy into that. I mean, if you look at countries that have higher unionization rates than us, that is not true. That like it's completely unaffordable to live there. Like if you look in Denmark, their fast food, it's like compared to like non-unionized places, it's like 20 cents more. So, I don't remember the exact number, but it's like barely even noticeable. So
Hmm.
I think that guaranteeing that making sure our workers, get what they deserve and make sure that they're happy in their workplace, I think that easily justifies, maybe like, I don't know, a few cents extra for your fast food. You know what I mean?
So the current incumbent, Joe Jefferson, he is big into the rural part of District 102, which runs, yeah, I like to say that it goes from Ridgeville all the way up to Pineville. Of course, it includes parts of Somerville as well. Where do you see some of the big issues for those rural communities, and how do you address those specifically?
Well, I think that a lot of the problems are pretty universal. Like I said, housing's expensive everywhere, So, but going on to something else, something I've seen very common in this part of the state is we have a lot of problem like flooding and stuff whenever there's a big rainstorm or a hurricane or something. So I think that if we do better conservation policies to ensure that there's so we don't accidentally overdevelop and get rid of the natural reservoirs where water would drain to. I think that would make sure that people's properties isn't being damaged frequently by with the weather, especially with climate change becoming worse and worse.
So why are you running now? Like, why is now your time to run?
Well, I, excuse me. I've always just wanted to run, so as soon as I got the chance, I decided it was, I have to do it. I tried deciding what office to run for specifically at first, and I've always just been drawn to the legislative process. So uh, I decided, I should be serving my state first. So I decided state house. That's where I'm going to start. Like no
Sure.
matter who I run against, no matter what I believe in my message, so, and that's what I'm going to do.
And obviously, you have a big task ahead of you. Joe Jefferson's been in the legislature, I think, since 2005, and if you did win the primary, you've got a couple of heavyweights on the Republican side as well. So it's definitely an uphill task. Do you think, where do you see your campaign going? Do you think that you can topple some of these big names?
Hopefully, that's the goal. Like I'll do everything I can. I've been going around talking to people, giving speeches at events. I'll be participating in multiple chances for the constituents to talk to me and stuff at like Democratic Party meetings. I'm going to be talking with the local union as well. I'm gonna get my name out there. Doesn't matter if I win this time or I'm gonna keep fighting no matter what.
Do you see a major difference between you and either your primary or your general election opponents? What sets you apart?
I mean, Joe Jefferson's pretty has a pretty similar platform to me. I think. I just think that I believe in my specific platform, and I think I go further in some areas. I don't think I've heard him say he's for like universal housing necessarily, but he's still really good. I just think that I think I have policies that no one else has proposed that would be very helpful.
All right. Well, it sounds like you've got a fresh take on the legislature. Before we let you go here, as folks head to the voting booth here in June for the primary, what message do you want them to have in their head as a reason to vote for you over your opponent?
All I have to say is that look at the policies, look what I propose. I'm going to fight for you, and I'm going to be I'm going to represent the average working class South Carolinian.
All right. Well, he's Collin Holloway, a Democrat running in House District 102. Thank you, sir, for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Yep, no problem. Thank you.